But tradition was important, at least to her dad. His background in the Sector Defense Force influenced the way he ran the ship, even though they weren't military. All three workstations stood on the same level and featured the same relatively comfortable chairs and enough desk space to eat off of. A viewplate, stretching a meter on the diagonal, served as a focal point for each workspace. A similar plate spread out in front of her on the desk's surface, now showing a collection of pictures and silent videos she had taken in her travels. She had logged more time in space than anyone she knew her age, but the Helena was her home. Ginny returned her attention to the viewplate ahead and brought up a series of windows with flicks of her fingers and eyes. Satisfied everything was as it should be, she returned her studies to the foreground and brought Brad's matrix into focus over her lap. "Coming out of warp space in 30 minutes, Mr. Dare. The Perry-Gamblin drive is optimal, and engineering reports the main thrusters are ready to bring us in on schedule." Walter looked up from his reports over to the navigator. "Thanks, Fred. I want us to be orbiting Eshu in 40 hours, if you can make it happen." A few taps later, and Fred met the company owner's gaze. "Aye, sir. We can do it. Murphy says we should be able to make .3C. That will get us there ahead of schedule." Walter cracked a rare smile. Ginny could hear it in his voice. "Excellent. I'm ready to shift this cargo. I think we need some time off." Ginny swung around in her seat. "Really, Dad? You mean it this time?" She tried to downplay her excitement. This ship was her home, but she wanted to feel something other than deck plates under her feet. No matter how nice the carpeting in her room was, the surface underneath was still unyielding. His smile widened as he turned to his daughter, but it looked hollow. "Yes, love, I do." The smile faltered. "You'll be headed to the academy soon, and we haven't spent nearly enough time together." He stood, a process which didn't increase his height much, and crossed to Fred's side. He clapped the younger man on the shoulder. "And my crew is beginning to sound like they've graduated from there." "Half of us did, sir," Fred reminded him tersely. "But I take your point. As good as our hauls have been, I'm ready to spend a few weeks dirtside." "Maybe we can spend a couple of days exploring Eshu?" Ginny tried not to sound desperate. Walter grimaced. "It's not exactly a tourist haven. Still, the Changs set a fine table, and fresh air is fresh air. We'll see." Ginny turned back to her studies. There was a survey of the planet up on the screen. Dad was right. They limited terraforming on this world since the process was still expensive. There was also the matter of a sentient native population. As a result, the arid conditions and air quality kept it from being a pleasant stay anywhere outside of the colony's boundaries. She wanted to know more about the natives and see if she could learn anything about their culture. She also wanted to hear their language, since even the best recordings still lacked a certain something only an audiophile and amateur linguist like her could pick up on. A "we'll see" from Dad was almost the same as a no, but she had a few days to work on him. She also couldn't wait to see Adelaide Chang. The two girls were born within a standard month of each other. They had only met twice, still they were thick as thieves, as thick as you could get from text and audio messaging. The next 20 minutes passed by in a flash. Ginny had entered and exited warp space through the wormholes created by the Perry-Gamblin drive more times than she could count, each time as exciting as the last. She sort of knew how they worked, as much as anyone could without the proper experience and degree. Still, the idea of punching holes in something that wasn't there excited her. The light shows were pretty fantastic, too. "All stations secure for re-entry, sir." Hicks broadcast his readout, including both the countdown and the system map, to the outer bulkhead viewplate. The screen was also available on strategic plates around the ship, so that everyone could see it. The 28 people on board were all awake and alert for this, regardless of their shift. A computer-generated version of what warp space looked like, if human eyes could have perceived it, made up most of the view. Shimmers of midnight colors, green, purple, and blue all danced on the screen. "Make it so."